7 cruel ways they create chaos to get the attention back on themselves. The eclipse of the ego, when the narcissist loses the spotlight. Narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, is defined by 9 distinct criteria, of which a person needs to display at least 5 for diagnosis. One of these core criteria is a profound requirement for excessive attention. While the specific intensity of this trait can vary, some narcissists manage better when not in the spotlight than others for whom it is a primary driving force. The general tendency is a dependency on validation. When the flow of attention shifts away from them, the reaction is often immediate and intensely defensive. This is when things become incredibly interesting for the observer and draining and frustrating for the victim. Feigned illness, the performance of pathological need. When the day revolves around someone else's success, a birthday celebration, an important event for a colleague, or a family outing the narcissist did not initiate, they can become instantly ill. They are struck by a sudden, self-diagnosed case of "I'm not the center of attentionitis," manifesting as a sudden headache, a debilitating migraine, or a crippling stomach ache. Psychological insight, somatization, and demand for supply. The victim often initially tries to sympathize, wondering if this is genuine stress or anxiety, failing to recognize the consistent, pervasive pattern. This illness always occurs when the focus shifts. Psychologically, this is often a form of somatization, where internal psychological distress, the lack of supply, is converted into physical symptoms. The narcissist cannot articulate, "I feel inadequate because you are not looking at me," so the body speaks instead. This manipulative act forces the partner to drop their plans and shift focus, successfully drawing the emotional spotlight back onto the narcissist and satisfying their immediate need for supply. By making the victim prioritize their feigned sickness, the narcissist maintains control over the social environment and punishes the partner for daring to value an external event. The silent punishment, sulking as emotional blackmail. If feigning illness fails, the narcissist resorts to powerful passive aggression, sulking. Oh, how they can sulk. They might retreat to a corner, sit with arms tightly folded, pout, stare into space, or engage in a dramatic silence that permeates the entire room. Psychological insight, passive aggression and punishment. Sulking is a classic passive-aggressive strategy used to inflict punishment without direct confrontation. The silence is loud. The narcissist's internal logic is, "You have failed to prioritize me. Therefore, I will punish you by withholding my presence and making everyone around you uncomfortable." They hijack the entire social atmosphere, forcing everyone, especially the partner, to expend energy wondering how they are and what is wrong. This creates a powerful, coercive environment where the victim feels compelled to coax, placate, and apologize simply to restore peace, effectively reestablishing the narcissist's centrality. Creating chaos, the public meltdown and scene creation. The need for control often escalates into dramatic, overt chaos. This can happen during a supposedly pleasant event, even one they claim they wanted to attend. Upon arrival, they may suddenly disappear, throw a public or private meltdown, start an explosive argument, or engage in loud, dramatic behavior solely to redirect all eyes onto their disturbance. Psychological insight, the need for arousal and dominance. When their need for attention is threatened, the narcissist's sense of self-control fractures, leading to emotional dysregulation. These meltdowns are not about resolving a conflict. They are about reclaiming dominance through shock and spectacle. The created scene serves as an intense source of narcissistic supply, negative supply, confirming their power over the environment. Furthermore, this chaotic behavior reinforces the victim's compliance, as the victim becomes motivated to avoid future public humiliation, ensuring they cater to the narcissist's needs preemptively. The financial trap and conversational domination. The control extends to material and verbal domains. The narcissist can use financial tactics, such as suddenly refusing to pay a bill they promised to cover, causing a public scene, and storming off, to leave the partner stranded and humiliated. Simultaneously, they engage in conversational hijacking, dominating every discussion and talking over others. Psychological insight, financial coercion and boundary violations. The financial scene is a calculated act of financial coercion, disguised as a petty argument. It's a power move designed to shame the partner into covering the cost while demonstrating the narcissist's supreme control over resources. In conversation, their habit of talking over others is a direct boundary violation and a refusal to acknowledge the other person as a separate, valid entity. For the narcissist, the spotlight must be perpetual. Therefore, your words, your thoughts, your feelings do not matter. They must reclaim the conversational spotlight at all costs, confirming their perceived superiority and the insignificance of everyone else. Humiliation and lashing out, the final attack. When all else fails, the narcissist turns venomous, resorting to overt attacks. They belittle, tease, mock, shame, and lash out. The anger surfaces as yelling, criticism, and personal attacks. Psychological insight, destructive projection, and devaluation. This destructive behavior is their desperate, final attempt to regain control and assert their importance by devaluing the victim. By humiliating the partner, they elevate themselves. This is often driven by projection, where their own internal feelings of inadequacy and shame are cast outward onto the victim. The message is clear: I am important, you are not. The victim is left wounded and confused, internalizing the shame. Recovery requires the victim to recognize this lashing out as a sign of the narcissist's profound internal weakness, not the victim's genuine failings, and to strategically withdraw from the emotional engagement that fuels this cycle. When all other tactics, feigning illness, sulking, or aggressive meltdowns, fail to bring the required attention, the narcissist resorts to vanishing acts. This can be an emotional disappearance where they withdraw into a state of visible misery. Everyone present begins pandering to them. Are you okay? What's wrong? You seem quiet. The attention is successfully restored, but now delivered with anxiety and concern, which is highly potent supply. Alternatively, they execute a physical disappearance, vanishing without warning from a public setting, leaving behind instant chaos. Psychological insight, the ultimate power move and induced anxiety. This vanishing act is the narcissist's ultimate power move. It demonstrates their profound belief that they are the center of the universe, capable of bringing all activity to a halt. When everyone rushes to phone, chase, and worry about them, the narcissist is, in effect, still in the spotlight, receiving massive negative attention and validation of their importance. Psychologically, this tactic is designed to induce abandonment anxiety and hypervigilance in the victim and the group, reinforcing the narcissist's control over the emotional climate. They successfully disrupt your day, avoid all responsibility for their actions, and achieve their objective. Guilt, shame, and blame are directed at the victim for not paying them the attention that they themselves believe they are entitled to. The chilling part is they genuinely believe their reaction is your fault because, to them, attention is not earned. It is a birthright. Strategies for the survivor: grounding and boundary enforcement. Narcissists simply cannot tolerate the feeling of irrelevance. They believe they are being ignored when the focus is elsewhere. The key to sanity and self-preservation for the victim lies not in changing the narcissist, but in recognizing the pervasive, predictable patterns of behavior. They have done it before, they will do it again. Protection strategies: knowing the script. Stay grounded. Anchor yourself in the reality of their patterns. When they suddenly become ill, you know the script is about demanding attention, not actual medical crisis. Set healthy boundaries. This involves refusing to be pulled into their drama, refusing to chase them, and refusing to apologize for their outbursts. Assertiveness is the antidote to their control tactics. Implement strategic distance. If feasible, the only truly effective solution is no contact, NC. If full NC is impossible, then limited contact paired with the gray rock method, becoming boring, unreactive, and emotionally uninvested, is essential to starve the narcissist of the supply they seek. The victim's recovery is about turning the focus entirely inward, away from the chaos they create. This community and resources like psychoeducation, guides, journals, and therapeutic support are vital tools for providing the necessary understanding and method to handle yourself around these individuals, overcome the abuse, and create the amazing day and life you truly deserve.